Excellent, thank you.
Haven't been drinking water already? That's past due.
All right.
Is that our meeting? No. Even though I do have the same.
All right, here we go. All right. Welcome, everyone, to the Plastow Planning Board meeting, March 18th. Charlene, could you take the roll, please?
Richard Anthony,
Here?
Karen Robinson,
Here.
Dan Kane,
Here.
Richard Leclerc,
Here.
Nolan Pelletier,
Here.
Bill Coy,
Here.
and Alice Costa took off from one. Oh, there she is. And Shay Raymond.
Here.
All right, so purposes of this meeting, our planning admin will be participating with us tonight in terms of the board's proceedings. We're going to skip the minutes and review and go right to the reorganization. All right, congratulations to two planning board members that had a grueling election campaign. No holds barred.
It was tough.
They ran unopposed. All right, but
Close one.
again, you put yourself out there and, subjected yourself to the candidates night. And it was a snowy event. So, so everyone that was there had to, affirmatively decide to be there.
That's okay. They probably had the warmest voting day standing outside I've ever seen.
Yeah, well, rewind the clock. I think Jay was standing out there
The snow 3 years
with
before.
the snow with a sign. All right, so at this point, we need to just sort of nominate officer positions and vote on them. So for chair, vice chair, and secretary. So
I'll make a
entertain
motion.
nominations for the chair.
I nominate Richard Anthony as the chair of the planning board.
Second it?
And second, any discussion on the subject? All right. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstain? I'll abstain from voting for myself. So that's going to be 401, right?
Yes.
Yeah, 401. All right. I nominate Karen Robinson for vice chair.
I'll second.
All right. Any discussion? All right. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. And for the secretary position, a lot of heavy lifting associated with that particular job. So I'll nominate Dan Kane for secretary.
I'll second it.
All right. Any discussion on the subject? All in favor? Aye. All right. Excellent. 500. You have minutes in front of you from last meeting. It looks like this is from March 4th.
Yeah, I'll make a motion to accept the minutes from March 4th.
All right, second it. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Abstained?
Abstained.
5-0.
Oh, that's all right.
Okay.
I wasn't here.
401. Dan Kane was the abstention. All right. PB 2517, which is a preliminary design review. We have a letter indicating that that the applicant is looking to postpone that, so we won't be discussing that tonight. All right. So we can, what's that? Okay. Is there anyone from the public that's looking to comment on PB 17, application for 27 Garden Road LLC? It's a preliminary, but I just want to make sure there wasn't anyone that was showing up to comment on that. All right. Just a matter of housekeeping, though. If anyone does want, from the public wants to have any type of comment on these public hearings, there should be a sign-in sheet on on that table by the door over there. Please fill it out, and then when you come to the mic, just give your name and your address so that we can record it, and then just speak into the mics. The mics aren't necessarily amplifying, they're just merely to capture it for purposes of a video representation. All right, so PB 2606, the completeness of an application from Erin Doonan for the review of a site plan that proposes a change of use for a commissary kitchen. The property is located at 182 Main Street, tax map 29, lot 31, in the MDR zoning district. The property owner of record is Erin Doonan. The application is found to be complete. The planning board may immediately conduct the public hearing. All right. All right.
Want me to make
Make a motion. Yeah.
I make a motion to accept PB 2606, the application as complete.
I'll second.
We'll give that to Karen for a second. Any discussion on the subject of completeness? All right. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Abstained? So it's 5-0-0. All right. The applicant wants to come up and do their presentation. Be appreciated.
Congratulations, too.
Yeah.
Back from your wedding. and everything.
Appreciate it. It was great.
That's always good to start.
That's always
yourself
good to start off with great.
That's right. That's
Yeah.
right.
Well, congratulations to you too as well. Yeah, I'm here with my site plan. It is an amended site plan from the previous owner. And I'm simply looking for a change of use for the current, there was a frame shop and we're looking to use it for a different retail use. There really wasn't much changes. There's no structural changes or anything like that. Just what's going to be going on inside.
Welcome. Welcome.
So essentially, it's using the garage to the extent you need to use it as for your use, correct?
So there's the shop that's going to be used as the kitchen, and then we just are using the garage as they did as well to store their vehicles and tools.
So you're going to require any kind of hood systems or anything?
Yep, so we do have a hood system. I actually was talking to the fire chief this morning to make sure that we're going to be getting the hood permit as well as the occupancy permit. But yeah, the chief is on board, and I do have a licensed contractor doing the hood system.
Excellent.
What will you be licensed as? Commissary or?
I think I'm not quite sure what I'd be licensed as. I have to look into exactly what the health license says, and I can look that up if you need me to.
No, I'm just-
But yeah.
How do I recall, you weren't doing any direct retail out of there, or you were?
So it would be considered retail because we would be doing occasional tastings. So we may have clients come in to try some of our food, but we're not doing events on site.
In order to meet the retail definition, there has to be some on-site
Sure.
Yeah.
activity. So
Yeah.
it doesn't require a ton of it,
No.
but there is some.
Yeah, I think we pretty much understand this one. This is about the third time you've been in
Yeah,
here,
it's pretty
Yeah.
straightforward. Pretty
Nothing's changed.
No,
Same plan.
except you're married now.
I'm married now. Yep.
you're married now, so
condolences. Oops.
good luck.
Thank you.
Just a quick question. With respect to dumpsters and things like that and trash removal, is there any need to have any type of an enhanced footprint of some kind?
Oh, I'm sorry. A what footprint?
Trash removal, things like that?
No, I have looked into that just so that I know I do have options, but I don't believe that our trash is going to exceed what we have and can put out on the curb.
Typical retail is not allowed to use our town trash cans. Typical, from what I recall, it's required to have a commercial company not the local home pickup. I'm not 100% certain on that, but I'm pretty certain on that.
Yeah,
That's interesting.
I think it's all about capacity.
Is it?
Yeah. Is it?
You have one trash can.
Yeah. Well, you got one recycling.
You got one.
too. You got one recycling too.
You have that.
Yes, that's right.
Yes.
For now.
Right.
Yes. If it doesn't exceed that, I don't have a problem.
Yeah, we're not here to inspect trash.
Oh, no,
you
no,
know?
no.
We also get rid of a lot of trash at the venues that we work at,
Of course.
who also have dumpsters. So we always try to take home as least amount as we can.
Smart.
Exactly.
All right, so for purposes of this particular site plan, we're looking to just amend, an existing site plan, and we're exploiting the fact that there's a variance that follows the property.
And the amendment is just a change of use.
Okay,
No, there's
Nothing else.
all right.
This is
I mean, pretty straightforward.
pretty generic and straightforward. Yep.
They're pretty simple.
All right. Is there anyone from the public in terms of this application want to comment? No? All right. You want to
Remember where they are.
make a motion?
We're gonna make a motion to close the.
You gotta
public
close
hearing.
it first, to
Right.
close the hearing.
I'll close the public hearing at 6:42. All right,
Second it.
it's closed. So at this point, we can,
I'll make a motion to approve PB 26-06, and I don't think there are any requirements.
there's a draft.
Yeah, so I'll actually read the application approval. I move to approve the application for an amended site plan as noted in the legal notice, PB 2606, for the property located at 182 Main Street, tax map 29, lot 31, in the MDR zoning district.
I second it. Any discussion on the motion? All right. All in favor?
Aye.
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 Opposed? Abstain? All right, it's 5-0.
All right, good luck.
Okay, thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Very good. Just take a sec to reorient here. All right. Next application before us is going to be PP 2605. The completeness of an application from Albert Couillard for a lot consolidation and a lot line adjustment to eventually create a residential subdivision. The plan proposes a 12-lot residential subdivision of a parcel, tax map 66, lot 17-002. The subdivision also includes portions of tax map 66, lot 17-000, tax map 66, lot 17-001, and tax map 48, lot 32-003, for a total of 84.42 acres. The application proposes 12 separate residential lots, each supported by its own on-site well and septic, and with frontage on a new plus or minus 1,800-foot roadway that will access from Hoyt Farm Road. The plan proposes 3 single-family lots, 1 duplex, and 8 triplexes. The plan also proposes drainage and related infrastructure. The property owners of record are Luke's Way LLC, David M. Hoyt, and Haverhill Golf and Country Club, Inc. If the application is found to be complete, the planning board may immediately conduct a public hearing. All right, so I move to accept the application for a lot consolidation, lot line is this the,
Yep, that should be it, the application accepted.
yeah. Lot line adjustment and 12-lot subdivision of a parcel, tax map 66, lot 17-002, portions of tax map 66, lot 1700-000, tax map 66, lot 17-001, and tax map 48, lot 32-003, as detailed in the legal notice for the planning board application 2605 as complete. Do I have a second?
Yeah, I'll second.
All right. All right. Is there any discussion with respect to this application as being complete?
From us?
From the board, we have to accept jurisdiction before we can open the public hearing. So there's a motion before the board to accept it as complete. Ms. Robinson?
Yep. No, I don't consider it complete because we don't have the Keach or any of the engineering or any of that. So I don't know how we can do it right away. This-
The checklist.
Well, engineers,
All right.
Here, let's look at the
that's what we've
checklist.
always said.
Well, again, accepting jurisdiction, there is, for completeness, what is it that we're saying is incomplete about the application? I mean, this board in the past has, had a more expansive notion of completeness. I mean, you have, a checklist, in terms of what needs to be submitted to the board, but, we've also said that if there's anything in the way of, let's say, amendments, zoning and things like that, that we kind of.
We need to have it looked over.
We have the applicant submit it. So what is it that we think is missing here?
It's missing from going to the engineer and for having the approval that they've looked over it. I mean, we've done this with every application.
So is it that you're saying that our
It's not
consultant hasn't had an opportunity to review the material? Is that what you're saying?
Right, exactly. We've had no consulting on it.
Okay. Is there,
I'm just,
You can't
it's just,
speak.
well, no, for purposes right now, the board's deliberating, you'll have an opportunity if we open.
We'd like to hear you though. We can't hear what you're saying.
I talked right through you.
Okay. All right. The board right now is talking about accepting jurisdiction. The public,
I'm sorry.
the public hearing has not been opened. All right, so as such, we're not interacting with the public right now on
We're
the.
not allowed to hear what you're saying. We're
No,
not
she-
allowed to hear what.
No.
You can hear what I'm saying, yes.
We can.
no, they
That's
just,
the problem.
they just want us to speak up. They haven't, I guess, a
Okay.
hard time hearing
I
us.
talked right in here.
That's
Okay,
what I believe.
all right, so,
Yeah, that thing is really loud.
Yeah, that doesn't help.
If you press the power button twice, it'll shut off.
There we go.
There.
is that a little better? Okay. All right, so back to the board deliberating with respect to accepting the application as complete. Anyone else?
I'm just kind of looking at our checklist and it looks like everything is checked,
All
right?
right.
That's kind of what I'm going by. Shay, do you have any, we received everything from your point of view?
That's correct. Yeah, everything that was listed on the checklist to be submitted by the applicant has been received.
Has our consultant reviewed it or had an opportunity to
We've
review it?
always had a
Can I-
consultant.
I'm asking.
Yep.
I'm asking,
The consultant did an initial review the first time that the application was submitted, when it was deemed incomplete. They received the application on February 4th. Updated materials. So I met with Steve Keach and the applicant in between to go over some of the issues that were brought up. And then updated materials were just sent by the applicant on Monday, March 16th. And so those were sent over to Keach as well. And no updated comments have been received from him.
okay.
And there is a memo in our packet too from Steve Keach.
That's the one we already saw. on
Right,
February
exactly. I'm just saying it
16th.
was in the packet in case someone wanted
Yeah,
to see it.
yeah, that was the last one.
I mean, with completeness, we always come down to the standard is, do we have enough information in the submission to make an informed decision?
Right.
That's the standard on completeness. There are no other, we use evidence of the checklist and everything. I think we're in the neighborhood
Right.
of potential incompleteness here, mostly because this subdivision plan is an engineering exercise. And we don't have, in fact, the only comment we have from our engineer is that the road design was unworkable.
Right.
I'm summarizing his multi-page response,
Yep.
but that's effectively the takeaway. That being said, I think we have enough abutters here that we should give deference.
Listen to them.
And I would be okay with accepting the application as complete, opening the public hearing, and at least starting that process. I don't think it's fair to send the abutters home.
I agree, Dan.
God knows what I'm violating in that view, but that would be my vote.
I'm sympathetic to that perspective.
Well,
That if people noticed, people made the time to come out here, and I don't think there's anything that's necessarily like thrown over the wall, like blank pages in terms of satisfying this checklist. So so I'm inclined to. I just think it's incumbent to understand that once we accept it as complete, the application is on our clock.
Yep.
And if there is a need for an extension, then the applicant would have to grant it for us to sort of continue the application forward. Otherwise, we would have to make a decision, and whatever that looks like based on the information that we have. So, any other discussion on it?
No, I kind of agreeing with Dan. I think there's enough here to accept them.
All right.
To at least start the process and get the folks in the room.
All right. If there's nothing else, I'll call the vote. All in favor for accepting PB 2605 as complete? All in favor? Aye. Opposed?
Opposed?
Abstain? So it's going to be 510.
4-1.
410, excuse. Right, 410. Ms. Robinson is the negative vote. All right. With that said, the applicant's representative.
I think.
And we're opening the public hearing at 6:53.
Hi, everyone.
Hello.
Thanks for hearing us. Appreciate it.
Just for the record, just name and.
My name is Al Couliard, Sway Realty Trust. I'm the design engineer, Phil Christensen. So just my opening comment quickly about the process. We did meet with Stephen after you saw that initial review. And he got several comments to Phil, and him and Phil went back and forth a few times and basically agreed on the revised plan that everyone has in front of them right there for that roadway. I do have some additional information regarding that I apologize that I just got late today, that I'd wanted to hand out. It's traffic from Vinay's and Associates. That you guys can.
It's going to be a good one.
Thank you.
So we think, Phil Christensen and myself, that Stephen's concerns have been resolved. I know he's on vacation, and he told us he had his laptop. He reached out to us. I thought I had more of those, I'm sorry.
Al, you got any extras for the staff?
Yeah.
You're welcome.
I'm sorry. So with that being said, the plan that we have tonight and the information in front of you is the revised material that were the results of Phil and myself and Shay and Steve Keach, met here together to address his concerns on the plan. So I think it's our opinion that we have them all addressed, and we'll just go through the whole plan with you now.
Yeah, if you could just sort of go through the overview of the plan and sort of address what it is that you've changed and those concerns.
Yeah.
And then I'm going to open it up to the public, and then we might have there might be some questions that are generated or they might have to respond to.
Cue that up.
Feel free, if you need to move your chairs up a little bit, feel free.
So the main concern was Hoyt Farm Road turning into the new road.
I get to the next sheet.
We're still on the last thing.
Phil, he's doing the thing. You gotta do this.
We need to advance the,
It's just, yeah,
Advance that.
they just have to move it to the next one.
There we go.
Let me help you.
Sure. All right.
All right, thanks, Jay.
But if you do need to move those chairs closer, feel free.
So, get to that last
Just want to
page.
get to this. Oh, they've got the old one on here.
This isn't what's on the revised plans.
I don't see the revised plans. Here it is. Okay. That was an existing. Okay, what Steve discussed with us, and he was concerned about the approach of the new road into Hoyt Farm Road. He did not give any comments on the engineering issues, on the drainage, the usual things we have to address, and I expect in his next review, he'll give us that information. But so what we really did here was just try to find a road configuration that worked, and this is what he's reviewing now. But if you look at this, you see the red line running down the middle of Coles Way there. That's the center line of the road. The shaded area is the pavement. And your rules say that a road has to approach the angle of the new road to an existing road can't be any less than 75 degrees. And also the curves in a through street, any street can't be less than 250-foot radius. So what we did, originally we were just coming up, straight up Coles Way, following the existing drive and up into Hoyt Farm Road. And that's what Steve objected to. So what we did was to adjust it so that we're not any less than 75 degrees at the angle of the intersection. And then also put a 250-foot radius, and you can see on the side there, if you look at right in there, there's a 250-foot radius there. And this is where it meets Coles Way. And Steve was also concerned that there'd be enough room for trucks and cars to turn and stop there. And I think this meets his requirements. And your rules really address safety all the time on these intersections. That's what's important. So we do have a radius here that's less than the 250 radius. And this, we're asking a waiver for this. And what was this down to? 37 feet?
37.
Yeah, so this is a 37-foot radius, which is greater than you would have on a street intersection, but it's obviously less than a 250. But what this allows is there's enough room here for cars to come in and make the turn, also for cars going out, coming around this. As Al presented tonight, there's a letter from Vanessa Associates showing that a fire truck can turn into this, whether they're coming down the street and turning in here, or going up Coles, or going up Hoyt Farm Road and turning into the new street.
Have you talked to the fire department at all yet?
Yeah, right.
Just to make sure they sign off that they're good with that turn?
I talked to the fire department about the truck size. They were concerned with the 44-foot-long truck. I think the study that we've given to you is for a longer truck.
Hook and ladder truck, longer than the 40. You guys have your largest fire truck is 44 feet, and the hook and ladder truck that's on the plan is 50 feet.
okay. Can I
That's
just,
you see the turning movements in that letter. That's not in this letter, right?
Yeah,
the turning
Yeah,
movements
if you
are in
turn
there.
the page.
Yeah.
Does it have the size of the truck? That's one back.
He told me it's a hook and ladder truck. And
It doesn't. I mean,
comments from Keith.
Yeah, he says just using vehicle turning software, auto turn with a ladder fire truck. It appears the intersection can accommodate the tightest right turn movements to and from Causeway. Is there an actual like math behind this, or is it just this like?
Yeah, there's a program that all those guys use now,
Yeah,
which he referred to there, and it's a mathematical program. It follows the rear wheels, the front wheels, and the overhang.
yeah, no, I'm familiar with it. I
Yeah,
just,
that's the math.
typically
behind it.
you usually see something behind this. Not that I'm gonna check an engineer's math, but, okay.
But anyway, that was the main concern that Steve Keach had, was safety.
Right.
So when I talked to him on the phone, he thought this was acceptable, but I do not have his final comments on it yet. So I can't say that he finally approves it, but the discussions are that it was acceptable to him, and we proceeded with that.
Can I just ask a question? I guess this goes to one of the waiver requests, where you're talking about a 250-foot radius. And, you're looking for it to be waived to a 37. Where is that on?
That's,
Number first.
well, this is the street here, just the center line. The 37-foot radius is right here, which would be right in this spot here.
Okay.
And now, one of the things we did too is to look around the property, and there's just a number of roads in town that don't meet.
Wade Farm Road does it.
Yeah, Hoyt Farm Road, at that intersection,
That subdivision's, 6 years old?
there's a turn in here that doesn't meet that standard. This turn is 250 feet. That's fine. Then there's a short section of straightaway, and then the road turns before it goes into Forest Street. What is that? I had that.
Right there.
Yeah. That's a 45-foot radius here. It's not 250. I think, as Steve mentioned, the main thing is that he looks at, is it going to be a safe intersection for maneuvering? So that's what we looked at here.
Yeah, I think that's where we're going to be ultimately, sort of deferential to as our consultant,
Sure.
in terms of safety, and things like that, or if 37-foot radius versus, 250-foot radius. I mean, we're going to want our engineers.
Yeah, you'll also notice though that it's the width of the pavement there is,
Yeah, we widened the pavement out at the
so
intersection,
when you turn in that intersection, it's showing where, Phil. I think you can zoom in, Phil.
right in there. You can zoom in here.
Can you zoom in on that?
Yes, up at the top of the screen in the center, the plus and minus buttons.
Top of the screen.
Oh,
plus or
yeah.
minus.
Oh, yeah, there it is.
Yeah, keep going. Yeah, there you are.
Yes, that's good.
So, yeah, that width. So the intersection up there, the pavement going up the street is 22 feet wide, 24 feet wide. But at the intersection, 25 feet from the pavement edge of Hoyt Farm Road is 40 feet wide. That's what we have there. So again, that just gives more room to allow for a good turning movement from Hoyt Farm Road into Coles Way. Now, a couple other things as far as the plan goes. As this continues down, and as I said, I haven't gotten any comments on the engineering, so we won't go into detail on that. But what we're doing is we're collecting the stormwater from the property, from the roadway, and then part of it goes down to this detention pond you see down here. There's a forebay and a detention pond, and then it discharges towards that wetland. And then farther down the street, you get to the end of the cul-de-sac, and again, we collect water here into a forebay, into a detention pond, and that drains out into the open space. Just to give a sense on the size of the open space. So if you look at that, the subdivision's over here. On the left, that's the 12 lots includes the existing lot that Hoyt's own. And then all that green is open space.
And what's
There's
the,
a access here, 200-foot frontage for the golf course, which we had to maintain. Originally, that was up on the Forest Street here, and we changed it and brought it down here. We talked to the golf course about that. It's fine with them.
and what's the total open space?
66 acres
Yeah.
without, nothing greater than 15% slope and no wetlands.
That's a massive amount of open space.
Yes.
Yeah, that's a lot of open space.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was wondering if we had it here, but I'm pretty sure that's listed on the survey plans here.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah. So anyway, not to take up much time in terms of the engineering issues, because there's nothing to discuss, I think, without Keach's report, but just wanted to show you what we're working with him in terms of safety on that approach to the property.
Fair enough, but like I said, we're probably going to be waiting for,
Oh, one other,
comments on that.
one other thing too is, just to get back down to this road. The property that's owned by Hoyt for the lot that goes in the back, the existing lot, this is 70 feet wide. And again, that's something that's, Steve Keach asked us to keep that as the whole right-of-way width. So rather than have a 50-foot right-of-way on the way in, the right-of-way will be 70 feet wide. And then we get down into the subdivision, it goes down into 50 feet wide.
Okay. Any questions? from the-
Yeah, eventually, I'd like to see two groups in town weigh in on it, the fire department, just to make sure,
Yeah.
with the vehicle, as well as highway. Seeing as highway ultimately, they'll be in charge of those roads, right?
Right. Which is why it's that 24 feet, not
Right,
27.
that's why, just to get
Right.
their opinion, and just, fire department to say yes for the truck, that turns fine with them.
Just a quick question, just sort of ad hoc. In the subdivision itself, I mean, are we contemplating putting any sidewalks in or not?
We did not, no.
Okay.
In his room, but,
What's that?
I mean, there's room there, but we did not propose it.
So
What's that?
where would they go?
Just asking the question. Is there anyone from the public that would like to speak on this application? All right, so if you could, you can come up. I need to, yeah, and I just need you to say your name.
Just in the
Okay.
mics.
You wanna,
My name is Michelle Mangos. I live at 6 Hoyt Farm Road. My biggest concern is when you are coming down Hoyt Forest Street and you're going to take a left onto Hoyt Farm Road from 108, you cannot see the traffic coming.
Corner.
And many times I'm going home and I have to slam on my brakes because there's cars coming that way. So that's number one. Number two, I don't know, when I look up the zoning, it says low density. And when they did my street, each of us have 2 acres from one single family house. So I don't know what the difference is between our rules and the rules that are going to go behind us. Why now you can have triplets? Because if whoever did our subdivision could have triplets, I'm sure they probably would have. And then third, he says he has engineering, but my well is gone from being 500 feet to 350, and I get 3 gallons a minute. I think if you get 29 more families pulling off of the groundwater, and all the groundwater is connected, you can't tell me it isn't, that my well isn't going to change. Because I already don't have enough water for my house. So if you're adding 29 more behind me, you can't tell me that that's not going to pull into that. So, I mean, those are my big things. I think, you know, if you wanted to spread it out and all that open space, well, there's utility lines going down there. So yeah, you're leaving open space, but it's there because there's utility lines, not because you're leaving it so it's pretty, you know? So that's my comments on it. And, you know, like I said, my big thing is the safety coming into the road. You get 29 more families. You're going to have 2 cars per family.
Yep.
Going in and out of there. It's, I think it's a nightmare.
All right, should I explain that number of lots?
Well, all right, so if you want to,
Sure, yeah.
You wanna speak to
The
that?
project is a PRD, a planned residential development. So the number of units you're allowed to have is you take the entire parcel, what's being developed as well as all that open space. You subtract out the wetlands area and the land that's over 15% slope.
What about the utility area?
And then
let him
No.
finish, please.
the rules are the wetlands and the land over 15% slope divide by the zoning district area, which is 110,000 square feet. When you do that, you come up with 29 lots, 29 units. Then it's a matter of how you want to develop it. Do you want to put in a road and 29 2-acre lots or 2.5-acre lots, or do something different? So the number of units is really calculated, as I said, and then you can deal with them any way you want, up to a 4-unit building, I think, in this is what the zoning allows. So it was decided to go to just 12 lots with 3 singles, a duplex, and then the remainder would be triplex units. But the unit density is based upon the town regulations.
So, but the density,
All right, so you're saying that the calculation of the number of lots, types of lots is mathematically derived?
That's right. It's straight from your rules then.
Okay.
I used Bruce Gilday's maps of soils, wetlands, and slopes to come up with the amount of area to subtract from the total area of the property.
Right. If you want to address a question, you know, I'll sort of moderate if there's sort of like a question being
Well,
asked. I just don't want to running, you know, like people from the crowd just saying stuff. So you're not part of a crowd though. So, all right. So
again, it was just should the rules be different there from us? You know, we have 2 acres, single family, they should have 2 acres, single family. I don't have a problem with you putting in single families on 2 acres, you know, and that would be a more
Yeah.
feasible kind of thing.
So I think the answer is that, you know, from a calculation, what you can put in and the number of things that you're putting in is you know, it's straight from our zoning, you know, calculation wise.
Like I said, I think
All right.
the safety is the big thing. Turning it into the street
Fair enough.
is going to be a problem.
Is there anyone else from the public that would like to comment? Just state your name and your address.
Tiffany Hinksman, and I live at Tiffany Hinksman. I live at 53 Forest Street. I'm the house literally on the corner. So our big concern is can we ask questions? Is there only one way in and one way out?
Yes.
Okay, my concern is I have 3 kids and our bus stop is right there. It's at the end of our street. We already get a pile of trash from people over there anyways and people flying around that corner. My big concern is between those new builds and the current builds at the top, one way in, one way out, that's what, 68 cars?
Yeah, it's a lot of cars.
For that one exit. And I'm already concerned when our bus stop was over on Hoyt. I'm happy it's back at my driveway, but people coming down that, I have a 9-year-old. I have a high schooler to a 9-year-old. Like, my concern is what that traffic is gonna do. And the fact that I bought my property because it's more like secluded, and now I'm gonna have 68 cars behind my house coming in and out.
Okay.
So the safety is a really big.
So safety, if I were to summarize your concern, it'd be sort of
68 cars for one
safety, added car traffic from the
One
expansion.
entrance, 68 cars.
Right.
Actually, no, let's not forget the other house. So 69 cars. That's a lot of cars. And it's 2 cars a house. And I know that you only have 1. So 69 cars. So that's our big concern.
Excellent. Thank you. Is there anyone else from the public that would like to comment? Say your name and your address, please.
Sure. My name is Anastasia Sheehan. I live at 8 Hoyt Farm Road, and I apologize. I'm reading from my phone. My printer had other ideas than working today. Okay, so my name is Anastasia Sheehan. I reside at 8 Hoyt Farm Road with my husband, Brian, who unfortunately could not be here tonight because he is at work, and we live there with our 2 children, Peter and James. Hoyt Farm Road is a quiet cul-de-sac consisting of 7 single-family homes in a designated low-density residential area. There are 12 children living on our street. That does not include the children that live at the base on the corner of Forest. They regularly play outside, ride bikes, scooters, rollerblade, play street hockey. We have elderly residents, and we have a resident living with Alzheimer's. The road functions as a low-traffic, predictable residential environment where neighbors know each other and families feel safe. While the proposed development's entry point is located at the bottom of our road and does not cut through the dead-end portion, it will introduce a high volume of traffic at the start of our street, which was designed to serve a very small number of homes. We know what the proposal includes: 29 homes, 8 triplexes, a duplex, 3 single-family homes, all clustered into, I think it was roughly 18 acres in an 83-ish acre parcel. It represents a substantial increase in intensity compared to the existing character of our neighborhood and the intent of LDR zoning. From a traffic standpoint, the impact would be significant. Using standard residential trip estimates of 8 to 10 trips per unit per day, this development can generate roughly 230 to 300 additional daily vehicle trips. While the cul-de-sac dead end will not carry this traffic directly, the entry point at the bottom of the road will see concentrated activity, including construction vehicles, deliveries, and daily resident traffic. This volume is far greater than what the road was designed to handle and raises concerns about turning movements, visibility, and road wear. The town has expressed concern about traffic in this region, so I respectfully ask whether a traffic study has been conducted specific to this entry point. Beyond traffic, safety is a key concern. Increased traffic volume changes the predictability of the road environment, reduces reaction time, and increases risk, particularly in a neighborhood with children and elderly residents. Safety is not simply about posted speed limits. It is about traffic volume, road design, and whether infrastructure aligns with its intended use. I also want to touch upon some environmental and technical concerns like Michelle did with the wells. My well is 700 feet deep, and I know that neighbors' wells are shallower. Adding a significant number of additional wells and septic systems concentrated on a relatively small portion of the property raises concerns about aquifer capacity, potential well interference, and nitrate loading. So I respectfully ask that you take that into consideration. I also want to be clear, I'm not opposed to development. However, access, design, density, and infrastructure impacts matter. Connecting 29 homes to a road designed for low traffic represents a permanent change to traffic patterns, neighborhood safety, and infrastructure load. Thank you for your time.
Very good.
Very
Thank
great.
you.
Thank you.
So I think the board will remember when we were talking about Luke's Way on 108, and several of others there were talking about the well issue.
Yes.
And I think we had, what's his name, the wetlands guy? It's Bruce Coudet, gave a pretty long rendition of, it's just not how it works. It's not how hydrology works. We're not, one well isn't taking from another well. Certainly no wells on this project would take from anybody 400 yards on the top of the hill. Water runs downhill, I would think. So, and the other thing is it's not 29 wells. Each lot, each triplex lot and the duplex lot will be serviced by one well each. So it'll be 11 wells, not.
So it'll be like a common pump house of some kind?
Yeah, that's correct.
Okay. Is that going to be just, would that be maintained by like a
Then a truck.
Each
Private, like a private
each
condo
triplex.
association of some kind
Each
of?
triplex and the duplex will be their own association,
Okay,
and they'll take care of their well and their septic system.
okay. All right.
Hi,
Just
my
your
name is
name and
Marion
address.
Saracusa. I live at 4 Hoyt Farm Road. I've lived there for 45 years by myself, until a few years ago I developed the land that was on the top of the hill. That's where the 5 houses are. It's a nice, quiet neighborhood. This proposed road that he's gonna put in is right alongside my property. Right, my property line ends there. That square, well, not that particular picture, but the road is right there. I can't fathom that traffic. The kids, ride their bikes and they use their skateboards, come down the hill. It's quite a safety problem. And I guess getting onto Forest Street is busy as it is. And there is a kind of a blind spot when you're coming in from Way 108. You have to stop if you wanted to turn in. You have to make a complete stop and pull in to make sure no one's coming from the other side, because the line of sight isn't that
Are
clear.
you talking about coming from 108 onto Forest Street?
Pardon me?
Are you talking 108 onto Forest Street?
Yes, coming from Forest Street into Hoyt Farm Road.
Okay.
The line of sight isn't all that clear. You have to make a definite stop and see who's coming. You have all that traffic. There's much, like she said, there's no way out. It's one way. They're in and out. I would have a constant highway next to my property, and it's right there. I mean, if you look at your map, my stone wall is there, and that's the driveway. I mean, that's their proposed road. So I just think that it's unfathomable, unsafe, and it would just cause too much problems. And the other thing I'm concerned about is, I know when you disturb the property, there's always problems with water and runoff and all of that. And there is a slight hill, and I'm sure they're going to be removing that. And when they do that, it disturbs the run of the water. But he had said something last time that the water runs on the other side. So I'm not 100% sure about that point. But that is a concern of mine, because there's a tremendous amount of water. I have all pipes underneath my driveway, under the lawn, going under that proposed road, which is Hoyt's driveway right now. But there are pipes going underneath into the wetlands.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm assuming they're going to reconstruct that or do something.
All right, to that last point, is there anything that's going to be disruptive with respect to the road that might disturb infrastructure that's put under it?
I mean, there is a pipe that drains from that property down into Hoyt's property. If you look on the map over here, this area is lower.
Right.
That's a low spot. And there is a drain pipe across the street right up here, if I remember, drains into here, and there's another one farther down. And they'll be maintained and extended.
So it isn't as if you're going through and just sort of
We're not gonna
ripping
tear 'em
up
out,
whatever
no.
existing infrastructure that might be there. All right.
Also, one of the points about the traffic flow, if you look at the Van Nuys's letter, it says at peak flow, it's roughly, I think, I gave my letter away, I think it's 20 cars at peak flow.
That's per hour, just so.
That's
Peak hour.
Peak hour.
peak
Right.
hour, that's right.
I mean, but when you look at, normal, and
Every day.
one of the commentators was right, it is 8 to 10. Normally,
That's correct.
in a single family, it's like 9.5 trips.
Actually, a multifamily has fewer trips
Correct.
per unit than a
Correct.
single family.
Correct.
But the single families are 10 to 12
Yeah.
generally. But you're concerned more at the peak hour, morning and evening. And, 20 cars is a lot different than talking about 69 cars, whatever it is.
Right, but if you look at right now, 20 cars as in relation to what's happening right now, it's all relative.
Yes, right.
I think that seems to be one of the concerns that we may have to play around with a little bit, just so you know.
Understandable.
Shay, is this letter that we just got, is this something that can be put, I mean, obviously people don't have a copy of it. Is it something that's on the website with respect to this application or application material?
It is not. This was not distributed to me prior to the hearing.
Okay. But can it be uploaded so that the public would have access to it? So, I mean, traffic seems to be something important. The applicant brought a letter in and, you know, so that you should be able to go out to the website. I'm hoping maybe tomorrow or
It could be uploaded
or
tomorrow.
tonight or something like that. So that you can see what it is that we're talking about. So, I mean, there is something that speaks to the number of trips per hour and things like that.
At current capacity, right?
Well, that's what I'm just saying. I'm just saying that there's material here that if you wanted to see it, we're going to put it up online so that you can see it.
No, that's an estimate of the development as it's proposed.
Oh, really?
Okay.
I did want to mention one other thing I forgot to mention. I never got notice about this hearing, so I had called earlier because my mother's in the hospital. She had a heart attack and surgery, and I had to come up here today. But we were supposed to get certified letters. I never got one, and the comment I got was, well, they brought it to the post office. So I went down to the post office, and they didn't have anything.
Okay.
So, but I did want to mention that because we were supposed to get notice. And I would think you would need proof that I got it, not that he just dropped it in the post office.
Well, not to say the obvious, but you are at the meeting, at the public
Because
hearing,
my
right?
neighbor called
Okay,
me.
no, I'm saying, yeah. So in that sense, I mean, the intent, I'm not saying disputing what you're saying, whether or not you were noticed or not, or the noticing was deficient or not. But
I think we have the return receipts.
You don't have a return receipt.
okay, well,
Do we, Shay?
I have the white slips that are given when you drop them off at the post office to ensure that the post office has received those, and then it's in the post office hand to get those distributed. So I do have all the receipts.
right. So everyone that was intended to be noticed that information was communicated to the post office to send that
That's
information.
kind of like sending checks in the mail.
I think no, it's not. I mean, it's a minimum requirement that they have to meet, and you know, if the applicant did it, then okay. Did you communicate that to our?
This morning I called, she called me.
All right, so we're aware of what that population is, and then we're able to check and see if.
And I do have the white slips for both of those properties to show that notice.
Okay, all right.
The checks in the mail.
It's a little more than that. Anyone else from the public that would like to comment?
Please come to the mic.
Yeah. And again, just go through the formality of stating your name and your address.
It's again Tiffany Hinksman, 53 4th Street. I just have a question. Why is there no option for another road to go out? If you said it's going up to the Havel Country Club, is that where it's going to? I can't read this map. It doesn't make sense to me. But didn't it say it butts up against the country club?
The golf course.
The golf course. Okay. So there's like no other way to get another egress out. Like my big concern is just the one way in and out. Like why is there no other option for another road to go out?
I mean, I think is that just how you wanted to develop the property?
Yeah, I don't think it would be possible.
Okay.
Oh, so there's just no way to make. Okay. That makes sense.
It'd be, a 4,000-foot road for 26 units.
Why is there so many?
Right, fair enough.
You've got power line easements through there, and, you can't mess with that stuff.
How much open space they need.
All right.
Yeah, it would be
We
impossible.
can't put
Okay.
homes on that.
Is there anyone else from the public that would like to
They're gonna get more money.
comment or participate? Okay.
Once again, please.
Again, got to go through the drill of stating your name, your address, and then again speak in the proximity of that microphone so that we can capture your testimony.
116 Forest Street. They've added new arrows on Forest Street showing that there are dangerous curves.
Okay.
But you all seem to think there's no danger on Forest Street. Just saying, why did you add those caution arrows?
I personally didn't add caution arrows, but all right.
Can I ask a question?
Yes, you may, Mr. King.
So I travel Forest Street
I do
probably
too.
as much as anyone,
I do
even
too.
the people who live in Forest Street, because it's the only way I can get from my house to the farm. And there's a problem on that left-hand turn. You got horrible line of sight. You know, I gauge it by the telephone poles.
left-hand turn?
It's left-hand turn going into Hoyt Farm Road from Forest Street.
Right.
If you're making a left there, those cars are on you, just like they say, in a period of time. I'm not asking you to fix a town road.
I
So
know,
just
I know.
but listen to my concern.
I know. Go ahead.
Right? Because that will affect how we look at this, or at least how I look at this, is there's got to be some, and I'm hoping that when the highway department weighs in, they take that into consideration. You know, you can't fix a town road. I get it. But it is an issue. It is an issue.
A 6-year-old town road.
Yeah. It's irrelevant to me.
Forest Street is.
Yeah.
A lot of these people were probably on the board when Hoyt Farm Road was approved.
Well, again, that's irrelevant. You're dealing with this board. And, you know, the notion that you have a 45-foot radius relates to the development that was made at the time, which I agree. You know, it had low traffic, 45-foot probably worked in that context for a waiver. Does 37 work when you've got, you know, in terms of the number of trips? I don't know. You know, it may very well.
Well, according to Van Nuys, he's saying that 29 units is, I don't want to use the word immeasurable, but like in a traffic study and traffic flow, it's like very minor.
Well, typically 30 units they're right. 30 units is kind of like they don't study too many times below 30 units.
That's right.
Yeah. No, I'm familiar with that. But again, we're talking about relative to this project.
Area.
We're not talking about, so it is relevant here, and it is material, the change.
And you know what, Dan? I would commit to looking at if highway department or town of Plastow, or if I can fix that left turn a little bit, if I can shorten it, cut it off, put a little more gravel and hot top in there to the highway department's satisfaction, I'm not opposed to doing it.
Yeah, and all I'm asking is to take this into consideration.
Yeah.
I'm not saying, hey,
Well, we haven't
this
yet
is a
because
bad
it's a-
plan or anything like that, because I don't feel that way.
I get it.
I think that's what it comes back to, is that we don't have, you know, we're going to have to get some feedback from our consultant, highway department, fire department, and, and then continue this conversation. I think that's fair enough. And just for purposes of this hearing, I mean, it's probably going to be amenable to continuing it to, until we have that information.
Of course.
And like I said, there are a number of waivers that are being asked that I think I would like to see.
Talk about those now?
We could talk about them, but I'm thinking that, again, I want some input. I'd like some input from our consultant.
Yeah.
So, I mean, because, Mr. Kane just brought up some questions that kind of go to that.
Yeah.
To the heart of those waivers,
Yeah,
right?
I mean,
So,
we're fine with waiting for,
all right, is there,
Steve to get off the slopes or wherever he is.
okay, just, we have a
One quick question.
name and address.
Paul
please.
Healy. I'm here representing my aunt Marion at 4 Hoyt Farm. She was asking some questions earlier about the road is going right next, it's abutting her property.
Right.
She was curious if she could find out how far from her property the actual road is and what the dimensions look like as compared to her lot line. And you had the plan up earlier, you could probably look at, if she could look at it, and then you could maybe explain it for her, that would be great.
We're all about the quick hits, you know what I
Quick
mean?
hits.
Some, put a W on the
Yeah,
board.
if we can get a win on that. Yeah, this is the one we're talking about. She's right here.
Yeah.
Right on that curve. I can point it out. You see what I'm saying?
She's up.
Yeah, she's right in here,
There
right?
you go. Thank you.
Yeah.
That's it.
So down here where it says Coles Way, that's in the center of the right of way. That's 35 feet from her lot line. And then the road is 12 feet. So 23 feet from the lot line to the pavement.
And then the drainage question she asked, I think you were looking a little bit further up, but the drainage question, she's got drainage issues there that I believe go under the current driveway, right? So obviously, you're gonna build this and it's gonna take the water away, hopefully better than what is out there now.
At least the same, possibly a couple percentage better.
Any other questions? That's it, thanks.
All right. Anyone else on the board have any questions? Like I said, I'm amenable to, probably continuing this to, our next public hearing. And in the interim, we'll have feedback from our engineer. But if you want to speak generically, well, specifically, to the waivers that you're talking about. But like I said, I think a lot of those seem to require input from our consultant, at least to weigh in.
I think a couple of the only significant one really is the intersection. So the other ones I think are pretty easy to explain and the board would probably support, I would think. So we'll just wait for Stephen. I'll wait till the next meeting. It's fine.
Okay. So when's our next, is it April? What is it?
April 15th.
All right.
There's
So,
a draft motion in the staff report.
okay. But we're going to continue it to April 15th, right? And so just,
Sorry, it's Michelle, 6 White Farm Road. So in regards to that low density zoning, right? So is it not, why do you make it low density if it doesn't have to be low density? Like, so where I live, it's zoning, it's low density. It's a question for him because this is their zoning.
no, I think the question was asked and I think it was answered.
Not really, it was just, you're just saying that you get to.
Dan, do you want to speak to that?
I may be able to offer something. So in the Plastow zoning ordinance, there, in low density, if you're part of a planned residential development, it basically encourages if you will, an open space concept to the development. So they give you some incentive to donate that open space, but allow you to use the total space in determining the number of units. So it essentially allows more density, if you will, in the LDR as an exchange of value, if you will, to donate that open space.
But that open space
it's irrelevant. Yeah, the open space
it's not usable either. Anyway.
The open space is defined based on the slope of the land and wetlands. Those are the only two criteria in the. So whether utility easements go across, any easements go across, it's irrelevant in terms of the definition of that open space in accordance with the ordinance. So it's your developer could have exercised the same option. It's probably didn't have enough land to make it worthwhile, and that's what it is. This developer has enough land to make the PRD work. It's a math exercise.
Yeah, there are other developments like that in town. I actually live on one of them.
Yeah.
Like if you have like Partridge Lane, if you happen to know where that is, that's the street I live on. There's 33 units there. So there should have been like an acre equal per lot. Those aren't one lot acres. But we have enough open space that it gets us there.
I guess that's my question. It's the 8 triplexes, and then how many duplexes?
One
duplex, and 8 of those. What is the reason for doing that instead of, again, single homes, which would be less?
Well, there's two reasons. One is the regulations allow you to do 29 units. You start there. So you could put in, a major roadway all the way through there, and you're gonna wind up cutting down a lot more forests. You're gonna wind up have a lot more runoff, and then you're gonna have individual lots that are gonna clear more land. So I think one of the reasons the regulations is written the way it is to prevent that sort of thing. Now you can consolidate to a shorter road and smaller lots, less land disturbance. So, and it's better for the developer, and I think better use of the land to do the PRD. And since it's allowed,
Well,
if it wasn't allowed, we wouldn't do it.
In terms of the mix, just again, what are we looking at? One more time, you have triplex, duplex, and then how many?
3 singles.
Add more.
Again, I didn't catch the last part.
3 singles.
3 singles, all right. I mean, just gonna point out that, where, housing is what is sort of the headline here in New Hampshire. All right, so, I mean, if you have a mix of things like that, I think that kind of speaks for itself.
The other issue really is, cost of housing. So the housing can be less expensive this way than build, 29 units on a long road, individual houses. They're all going to be well over $1 million.
Yeah, all I do is get, oh, hell, you're going to go build more McMansions no one can afford? These are going to be affordable housing. These are going to be 6. I mean, I know it sounds silly when you say $600,000 as affordable, but I mean, that's just the way it is.
Yeah,
That's got nothing to do with me.
Today.
But, these are going to be affordable housing. A lot of them, 26 of them. I mean, I think that's a good thing.
All right.
And remember, the PRD ordinance actually permits up to 4
4
plexes.
units, right.
So
What would you call that? A triplex?
a quadplex maybe or something? Yeah, I don't know.
All
right.
I mean, but that's the we're prisoners, if you will, of the ordinance.
Well,
That's what it
it's,
is. you know?
like I said, that's at the RPC level, that's what they're talking about. All right. At the state level, that's what they're talking about. So it's just, where to build, how to be creative about where you're going to build, whether or not like state level land is even something that's, in play where, they're enticing developers to, some of those easements on either sides of the highways that are larger than the highways.
What's that intersection going to look like? Getting on a 93 from a...
Again, yeah, well, it probably look like something off a 93 heading towards into Boston.
Yeah.
So, all right. Anyone else from the public want to comment? Because then, again, what was the date? I think
15th.
15th. All right. So we're going to continue this public hearing to April 15th. For the public's purpose, this will constitute your notice. All right. So there won't be any additional notice in terms of mailing out saying that the public hearing's continued. So it will be on the website,
Facebook too.
and for the planning board. So if you want to comment, or if there were people that weren't able to comment, please feel free to show up. Right. All right. So not closing the hearing, just continuing it. Right. So if that said, then.
Thank you.
All right.
Thanks
Thank
for your
you.
time, guys.
All right.
Appreciate it.
Oh, jeez. I think a lot of this, whatever Steve wants to weigh in on, kind of speak to a lot of these issues.
It says, why pick Plastow, which has the least amount of land? Why isn't Oberlin Atkinson? No, I'm sorry. That's
Push
over
that
here.
mic. Turn that red.
Right there.
All right. All right, just take a second to reorient. All right.
Excuse me.
All right, next on the agenda, PB 2605, the completeness of an oops, sorry. Yep, flip the page. PB 2607, the completeness of an application from Big Al Services LLC for review of a site plan that proposes a change of use for a trade business. The property is located at 22 Danville Road, tax map 30, lot 91, in the C1 zoning district. The property owner of a record is Albert Reyna. If the application is found to be complete, the planning board may immediately conduct the public hearing.
That's on the strip there. It's, yep, it used to be there, but it's just to, they came in for a conceptual. I don't know if you were here.
All right, so
It's the change of use.
I move to accept the application for amended site plan as noted in the legal notice PB 2607 for the property located at 22 Danville Road, tax map 30, lot 91, in the C1 zoning district as complete.
I'll second.
Is there any discussion on the motion for completeness? All right, all in favor? Aye. Opposed? Abstain? So 500. Just name, address, and who you're representing for the record.
Good evening, Chair, members of the board. I'm Tom Schomberg of SEC Associates, here on behalf of the applicant, Big Al Services. Let's switch to this sheet here. For this change of use and site plan review application for the property located at 22 Danville Road. The property is located within the Commercial 1 C1 zoning district. The property has about 165 feet of frontage along Danville Road and contains approximately 1.16 acres of land. The lot contains an existing commercial building, parking areas, septic system, well, and fence to support the existing previous use. The site generally slopes from Danville Road toward the rear of the property. The applicant is formally requesting a change in use for the subject property, transitioning from its current designation as a store or shop to a trade business use. This change in use would facilitate the relocation and operation of the applicant's HVAC business. At this time, no changes to the site are proposed. But if there are any questions, I'd be happy to answer them if I'm able.
Just for purposes here. You indicated there's, did you say that there were no waivers that you're looking for? Or there is a waiver?
So we had requested 2 waivers in the checklist. Shay had written that the waivers weren't required.
Okay.
They were in regards to escrow and bonds.
Okay.
Just since there was no engineering review, there was no need to set up an escrow, and the applicant doesn't have to go through the waiver process for that.
Okay.
Remember, all this is a change of use.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's no change to the building and.
Pretty straightforward then, right?
Yep. And it's going from, and it's a permitted use, so. It's-
All right. Any other questions from the board? Shay, do you have anything is there anyone from the public that has any comment or want to weigh in on this public hearing? No? Okay. All right. If there's nothing, then I'll close the public hearing at 7:50. I did open the public hearing there. Okay. All right. So the board can deliberate here.
You want a motion?
I would like a motion. You want to make the motion, Karen?
Yeah. Well, let me actually read the motion this time instead of just making it up as I go along. Okay. I move to approve the application for amended site plan and noted in legal notice PB 2607 for the property located at 22 Danville Road, tax map 30, lot 91 in the C1 zoning district with the following conditions. All applicable professional stamps shall be affixed to the final plan for recording. A note shall be added to the final plan to clarify the discontinuation of the grandfathering protections for the non-conforming contractor's yard use. All conditions of approval shall be met, and final plans for recording submitted to the planning department within 45 days.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
I'll go for Bill on that one.
Whoever you want.
Pick one.
Pick from the list.
Any discussion on the motion? I just have a question, just at least with respect to the motion itself, Shay. To clarify the discontinuance of the grandfathering protections for the non-conforming contractor's yard use.
That is a recommendation that was made by the zoning official for the zoning determination that was included in your packet.
What's the logic behind it? I guess is what I'm saying, whether or not it was recommended.
Just so it's clear for the record that this current use is a permitted use. And so with that other use not continuing, then it would no longer be allowed.
Okay.
Doesn't it just, once you change the use, doesn't it?
It does, yeah. If you
So it
discontinue
does by fact. I don't know what this adds necessarily to it. You know, I mean, it's gone, right? Under our zoning ordinance.
Maybe just by having it on there, nobody will question it. I don't know.
Yeah,
It's not gonna harm it one way or the other.
Well, on this one, I agree with you. I think there's probably no harm here, and if you don't care, all right, then, you know. But I don't think it's, I think it's somewhat superfluous, but.
All right. Any other discussion? All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Negative.
Thank you.
Abstain. So 500. All right.
Have a good
Thank you.
night. Thank you.
All right. All right. Next up, we have a conceptual consultation for DSM MB2 LLC, 34 Plastow Road, Plastow Tax Map 25, Lot 5. Just for your name and who you're representing and such for the record.
I can start. My name is Jim Lamp. I'm with LT Development out of Salem, New Hampshire. I work directly for Market Basket. I've been working for all their development projects for the last 16 years. And I'm here to represent DSM on this redevelopment project of their plaza.
Excellent.
All right, good evening. My name is Nick Golan. I'm a licensed engineer and principal with the firm TF Moran. We're a site, civil, landscape, architecture, try and do it all firm relative to these types of projects. So why are we here tonight? This is regarding tax map 25, lot 5, that being 34 Plastow Road, zone commercial 1 district, that being C1, for a parcel that is approximately 46 acres. This is the existing shopping center. And I'm just going to navigate here real quick.
Yeah, it's probably one shopping center. We all know right where it is.
As we're working here, I'll just keep chatting a little bit to keep things going. So we have an existing shopping center use. The shopping center, I believe, was built in 1975. So we're working on about 50 years of a needed renovation. And that's what we're here for. Now, our current tenants consist of Market Basket, Kohl's, the New Hampshire Liquor and Wine Outlet, Bull Moose Music, as well as the paper store. Shay, can you help me navigate? You did so well with the last group. I figure what I'm trying to do is just plug this in. Pop up on its own, or perfect. Well done, thank you. So if I can, if it'd be okay with the board, the handout that I have up on the board, I'm going to hand out to you all too, so that way you guys can follow along. Take one, pass them down. There's two separate ones. All right, so what's going around the room is two handouts. The proposed layout of the facility, and then also the existing. So let's start a little bit with the existing. Kohl's currently operates out of this far left tenant space, whereas Market Basket to the far right. My understanding is adjacent to Market Basket is the paper store, then Bull Moose, and the New Hampshire Liquor and Wine Outlet. As you can see by the aerial, this is very 1970s. It's very boxy, very linear. Our proposal is to relocate and renovate Market Basket with associated site improvements. So what they'd be looking to do is Kohl's will vacate the approximately 80,000 square feet that's located to the far west. Market Basket would then renovate that consistent with their current branding. So we'll be moving into that prior Kohl's location. Once the renovation is complete, Market Basket relocates into that space and provides the opportunity to renovate their prior space. So we'd have the opportunity to create essentially two renovated 26,000 square foot retail spaces, noting that the tenants for that would be yet to be determined. Now, beyond the building renovation, additional site improvements would be proposed to improve access and circulation around the property, as well as an additional tenant in the form of a nearly 2,500 square foot bank that would be located along the site's frontage. Now, beyond this building work, you'll also see that there's some modifications to our circulation and access. The access to Plastow Road and the reimagining of that entryway and distribution of traffic would be done by project consultant VHB, with the remainder of the work on site being performed by TF Moran. So there will be a state driveway permit associated with that reorganization, noting that this is the current envisionment of how that would work. So you have a...
Is this, so you that's the existing, or what you're proposing right there to be the entrance?
The only change on that is that in our preliminary discussions, we understand that the right turns out are pretty heavy because it's a mass border site. Everybody likes the better prices.
Yeah, we're a miner town. People come in, they mine, and they leave.
So what we're looking to do is do a double right out. So we would be adding a right turn out. And one of the other benefits of that is if you can go to the
So you'd be adding a
existing.
lane then, right? Because there's two lanes out there now, so you'd be adding a third lane.
Right. So it'd be a through left and double right.
And there still has to be one that goes straight.
So
that left
because
is-
you have a through left and double right.
But what about straight? You got the plaza across the street.
Through.
The through part.
Right, I got you. Okay.
Straight left.
I got you now.
And one of the things that we understand occurs out there is that with the existing site, because of the only two lanes leaving, it backs up, and it backs up to that crossway that feeds both the parking lots on the left and the right. The double rights will aid in helping that blockage and allow for through traffic. And you'll also see that I've been accused of liking roundabouts, and we tried to avoid one here, but it really makes sense to have a roundabout on site.
We could talk about roundabouts and unrelated issues.
You struck
I'm a personal fan of a roundabout.
Once If they're used in the right application and in the right way, they can be very beneficial, and they help it out. And we think on this site, despite the fact that it takes up a lot of the site, it works better, and it allows for us to get a little deeper into the site for that intersection. So the queuing from the signal actually has a little bit more length going into the site with this roundabout.
And Jim, that's a
Copy that.
And that's a good segue to talk about some of those site improvements. So this is a redesigned, really I'd call it curvilinear parking lot. So we're getting away from that boxy shape. This redesign eliminates dead-end drive aisles and promotes a more appropriate circulation around the site. I was kind of aghast to see that we were having dead-end aisles that, when we think back 50 years ago, that was a typical design practice.
For anyone that might be watching, what do you mean by like a dead end aisle?
Meaning that your parking would run all the way to the end of the pavement, as would your aisle. So there's no opportunity to then loop around that parking and continuing your turning movement. So if all those spaces were full, in theory, you are backing down that aisle and you have no opportunity to turn around unless a parking space is open that you can pull into, then back out of, and then change direction. So a tremendous improvement, and I'd say much better use of the overall space. Now, in doing so, we do see a reduction in the overall parking count from approximately 906 spaces to just under 700. But in doing so, we eliminate more than half an acre of impervious on the site. This enhances the green space that's interior to the property, as well as provides the opportunity to provide additional landscaping. Now, the pavement itself will be removed and then repaved. We'll have new site lighting that's installed throughout the area of the development. Looking a little bit at the utilities, the septic is located out back and is appropriately sized for this proposed retenanting. What we may end up seeing is the septic tanks that are located behind the building. We may need to replumb or potentially replace one of those tanks just because they're not as strategically located as needed in order to service Market Basket's needs. Now, otherwise, no changes to our water service. It's already plumbed to the buildings, no changes there. Now, there are no wetland impacts as all of our work is within the existing footprint of the prior development. And one of the great enhancements that we'll see out here is the opportunity to improve stormwater management and treatment. Currently, there isn't any. Essentially, you have catch basins that directly discharge to wetlands. So we've already had a pre-application meeting with the New Hampshire Department of Environmental Services, Alteration of Terrain Bureau, so we can establish what the expectations are.
That area there, I mean, there's sort of like a...
So that's a fire pond.
That's a fire pond?
Yep. Okay. So a non-jurisdictional wetland, to my understanding, so really no proposed impacts to that area. That would stay essentially as is as part of this development.
Okay.
And there is a second fire pond behind Coles.
Okay.
And that one, we are looking to disturb to allow a truck, you can see a circle there. Right there. That's a spin circle for trucks because truly you can't bring trucks to the left side of that building. It's just too narrow.
Yeah.
And we don't want trucks interfering and interacting with our patrons and car traffic.
Yeah.
So everything will be coming in from the right side, going in, loading, and then leaving from the right side of the building, and for the most part stays out of interacting with parking stalls and parking spaces.
That's what it currently does now.
I'm sorry?
That's what it currently does. Comes
Everything
comes in from the
correct,
right.
correct.
Comes in from
But
the
the turnaround now is more or less in the middle of the building.
Gotcha.
And what we've done is, because Market Basket likes to have double loaded loading docks from both directions, this allows trucks to spin and get in the right direction without using that center area, which really has parking spaces in there too.
Yeah.
They're striped out. You can't really see them, but they're there. And that was in order to make the parking count back in the day when Kohl's did an expansion. As a part of this, we're taking the back bay of Kohl's off. So we're actually bringing the back of the building in about 40 feet. And the front of the building is essentially where it is today, except for we're putting a Markets Cafe, and that's that little bump out in front, which we have in all of our new stores.
The next to the liquor store, there's currently an empty space that's been empty for decades. I noticed they just emptied it out last week, but is the liquor store going to take over that space, or doesn't really matter? I'm just curious.
The liquor store, ongoing discussions. When they see Market Basket and the liquor store have this symbiotic relationship. They like to be in the same centers together. And I wouldn't
You
be
get your nachos
surprised
and a
if they
drink.
wanted
Date
to
night.
expand.
I mean, that space has been empty for decades.
Yeah. So there might be a discussion that, I think that was.
I'm just curious. There's no
CVS.
effect on this at all. Just I'm curious.
But I wouldn't be surprised if there was discussions on that, but right now it's vacant. We're looking for tenants.
They just cleaned it out last week. I saw trucks in there. I'm surprised
We looked at relocating or excuse me, adding on to the market and leaving it in place, but it just doesn't work. It doesn't work. The building's tired. It really needs to be gutted.
Market Basket just did this in is it Lawrence, Andover? And they did the swap with the Kohl's and the Market Basket.
and I just did that project and
beautiful.
Very similar,
Very nice.
Very similar. You'll note that the parking lot is completely different.
Oh, yeah.
It's all new curbing.
Yeah.
We're going to rip up all the pavement at one point or another.
We half wrapped up.
And redo it. All curbing is going to be granite. And it's going to be, essentially, it's going to be a brand new center.
Yeah. All right. So I guess that's a, good question to ask is there an analog to this that you're pointing to that we can look at, say that?
I would say that you could look at North Andover.
Okay.
We just did Bill Ricca. That one was we did a 300 square foot addition to that building and redid the whole center to accommodate some expansion into adjacent space.
Yeah, I've been in that.
Those are two that were done last year. You'll note that the landscaping is 2-3 times what's typically required. They've really gotten into a good groove of doing a really good job on their sites.
They're impressive.
It's easy to represent them right now.
They're very impressive.
Building their sites and doing their buildings.
And what's the time frame you're looking at to get this started and then completed by?
We would, I would say we would love to get permitting done this year, and start in the spring. We might even pull demo permits if things are going in the right direction. We might pull demo permits because we have to gut the Kohl's, and tear down some of the building. But we want to make sure that we're far enough along that we can get through the state and through the town, and everybody's happy with what we're doing. But I would say, a spring start construction.
And how long
2027.
How long you figure?
About a year,
Okay.
to 14 months.
It takes a while.
It will be a little bit longer because once we vacate, so we'll have 2 stores. You'll see 2 Market Basket signs up for a day or 2.
Yeah.
And as soon as we open up, the Market Basket sign will come down, and we're going to rip off the front of the Market Basket one bay as well, so that it becomes a little bit more in the line versus that big jog that occurs.
Yep.
Which allows the front road, that drive aisle, to be a little bit smoother. It'd make a little bit more sense.
How did the decision for being banks now on that side there?
I'm sorry?
Having banks at the other side.
The
now.
bank.
Why?
Hey, bank.
Who decided that?
That's a effort on Market Basket's part to help with the affordability of the redevelopment. We don't have a tenant for that at this point, but we found that when we do redevelopments, the tenancies, people tend to inquire. We could be 10 years from now and that just be a parking lot. It might not be a bank, but we want to permit it all at once so that you know what the final product is.
Well, where is Kohl's going? Well, I was thinking.
We don't know. Kohl's lease is up.
Yeah.
We'd love to have them stay. It could be a possibility that they get a smaller store. Their stores are too big.
Right, no, that's what I was thinking.
We actually, to give you a little history, we had a deal with Kohl's to relocate to our old store in North Andover.
Okay.
We had a deal for 2 years, and we moved our store, and they said it's just not a good enough location for us. And
they weren't going back in.
yeah,
Oh, wow.
but they were for a couple of years, and that was a 4-year project.
Yeah.
And they just didn't stay. But I think they like this site a lot more than North Andover, so we're hopeful. But I don't want to make any promises. So that's where we stand with
the teaser.
Yeah. I'd like to see them flip over personally.
Yeah.
But
my understanding is it's a very good store for them, but it's probably way oversized.
I was going to say it's way too
paying
big
per square foot in a lease.
Way too big.
It moves them to go from 80,000 to closer to 50.
That's why I was thinking of that corner there, being switched.
Jared, maybe a Chick-fil-A.
The other thing we did, you'll note that the main drive, it used to go straight into the site. We jogged it over because we think that the market basket parking is more important. I mean, that's our client, that's the owner of the site, and they want to favor themselves, but that's why it comes in and it
Makes
takes
sense.
that little jog to the
It
right.
makes sense. You go to the
provide
parking
more
lot.
Parking on that
Go to
side.
the parking lot any day and market basket side's full, both sides, much less.
It's the flagship store.
The existing photo.
Liquor
there's
store's
that.
very busy.
Yep, there's the majority of your parking right in front of the market basket.
Yep.
So let's see.
Nick said, the other advantages is that we are going to be creating a little bit more buffer along the wetlands to the south. And we're also, in some places, pulling back from the right-of-way to give a little bit more green space out front. And more interior green space as well.
All right. Now, in terms of, in the parking lot, is this notional? I assume these are trees and various types of.
Yeah, it's not designed yet. This is a
okay.
pretty picture. As a part of the application, TF Moran does their own landscaping in-house, and they've done a bunch of sites.
So there's going to be more landscaping than there's currently there. Is what
Yeah,
we're saying.
and again, I would encourage you to go visit North Andover.
Okay.
Once the piles of snow melt.
Yeah, no, that's a good point. So
They do a good job with the plantings on the
Yeah,
site.
it looks, I drive by that every week. It's beautiful. Absolutely beautiful there.
Are you guys going to be needing any waivers?
I think there will be.
It's a possibility. Parking will be close. There may be some various elements that come up as part of our design that don't cookie cutter fit into the regulations. We'd make sure we provide appropriate descriptions as to the why and make sure that it's in the public good and not adverse to overall conditions.
I think we can assure you that if there are waivers, they're existing non-conforming and they'll be better. They might not be able to meet because it's an existing site. Might not be. We're in. For instance, we're in the wetlands buffer already. We're pulling back, but we can't pull all the way out. So we're making it better, but it probably still will not conform to the regs completely.
Right.
But the interior landscaping will be increased. It might not meet your regs exactly, but it will be an increase and a betterment on the property.
Well, generally, if you're going to become less non-conforming, that's generally fine.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct.
Yeah.
That's our hope.
Yeah.
That we want it to be fine with you folks.
Yep.
Very good.
And we'll work with Shay to work through all those issues. We'll have a complete list of any waivers.
Excellent.
What's the lot coverage here? I'm sure it's fine, but.
Because it's such a large lot, it's
Yeah.
probably, it's better to talk about, as Nick was saying, that we're, how many, like
It's more
0.6?
it's more than a half acre reduction in impervious.
But it's like a 40-acre lot, and there's a whole bunch of backland, so
Right,
the
right. I'm
coverage
sure
is.
you're well within the
Yeah,
75%. But
Yeah, I think we have a healthy margin.
yeah, okay. That's just,
The reduction of almost 300 parking spaces helps us with that.
So given this is a conceptual meeting, as part of your guys' approval process, we want to make sure we had the opportunity, one, to come and show you the wares, what we're excited about as far as the redevelopment of this property, and to solicit any comments, questions, or concerns should you have them. Thus far, I think we've heard a lot of positivity, which is great to hear. If there are any specifics to this redevelopment that you would like to share to us, now is that opportunity prior to a more formal application. We'd love to hear that feedback.
I mean, New Hampshire DOT's weighing in, New Hampshire DES is weighing in. I mean, we generally defer to their expertise.
Our first thought was to try to avoid that because that's probably going to be the longest process along with the AOT permit. But we want to do the right thing, and that right turn lane is what's going to trigger it. Otherwise, we could avoid any permits with DOT because we're reducing the square footage by 6,000 square feet. But we will have a full traffic analysis of what's going to happen out there. And we think the right thing to do is to have the double rights, so that will trigger the DOT review.
Yeah, no, I personally, I think that's a good move. And I think this is going to be a traffic, at least some data that you're going to have to provide that would, just to.
We just hope they don't make us redo the road all the way to the state line.
Yeah, that's This is New Hampshire. That's how half of the state is developed.
Oh, you know what? I love working in New Hampshire, much better than Massachusetts.
Massachusetts, correct. Well, that's why we look so good, because Massachusetts.
The foil.
But I mean, overall, I think it's good. That's a tired building.
Oh, God, yeah. It's the smallest one I think they even have still, isn't it? One of the oldest and
They
smallest
will-
stores?
There will be a complete new facade, exactly. We're actually still working on a new facade to finish off North Andover, but we're going to finish that whole plaza. If you go to, again, Bill Ricca, our store in Bill Ricca, that, again, for a 200 square foot addition, we ended up doing probably 1,500 feet of new storefront. So this will be all new storefront.
And it is. I'm very familiar with the one in Billerica.
I'm sorry?
I'm very familiar with the one in Billerica.
Yeah.
I'm down there a lot.
Again, a tough old plaza, and I think they kind of we did a good job.
Yeah, I agree.
That
I agree.
and helping with circulation, and that was kind of a free for all. People would go diagonally through everything. That's why
that's Billerica.
You do like the linear islands. It helps a little bit with snow storage, but it does keep people kind of driving up and down the aisles versus diagonally.
Yeah, I think at least from my perspective here, I think, the feedback that I've had, at least when, this was sort of percolating around that you're going to be coming in front of us, is the entrance. So, I mean, apart from, what you have proposing, was there any other type of access and egress type arrangement other than just this?
The one thing that I would always consider would be to talk to the state about maybe a right in or right out somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just not sure that's going to fly, so I didn't want to promise that. The question will be asked since we're going there anyway. I'm not sure where that would go to make a lot of sense. But
yeah, I mean, it's like I said, if there was going to be like feedback, I mean, this sounds fantastic. It's going to look fantastic, but the feedback that I have is pretty much like, going in and going out.
Yeah,
and maybe a mathematically constrained.
There's always a better mousetrap, and we'll continue to. This is preliminary. Yep. We haven't really gotten into full design. I would assume that TF Moran, I haven't talked to them directly, but I assume they'll need 6 to 8 weeks to be ready for a submittal.
Mm-hmm.
And then we'll be back before you. And if things change, we'll let you know and work through Shay to make those changes. But I think this is pretty close to where we're going to end up.
All right.
One quick question, again, really has no bearing. Down south, when they build these plazas, they build the roads with arrows one direction only, and they put the parking spaces on like an angle.
Yeah.
It's great, but I might eat up too much space. Is that what that's? Because it's one way in, you go in back. It's very simple. I love it, but I don't know if it's feasible here.
My personal feeling is I hate those. And as an engineer, but also as a person who uses these lots, is that you end up going the wrong way, or they end up with diagonals going in both directions. The only time I ever do those is if there's a constraint in width, because you can make those drive aisles they can be 12 feet wide.
Sure.
And
it was just a thought. I'm not trying to redesign your stuff.
Yeah, I'm not a fan.
We won't be seeing that.
Circulation routes be tough though too. You think about it with all the snow we can get up here.
Yeah,
those circulation routes do have their place though. If you think about a school, making sure the traffic's all going one way, try to eliminate backup movements. Not necessarily for a retail plaza, but they have their home.
Yeah.
Like I said, I'm not overly in love with them. I just thought it was kind of interesting.
The other thing we're doing here, and I believe, and I might get my projects mixed up, but I think Plastow is a 60-foot wide parking bay requirement. We do 63. We make them a little bit wider because we know our clientele, and giving them that extra 3 feet allows them to get out without.
It's not the 70 small cars anymore. It's SUVs, trucks.
70
so these, I believe, are all 63s throughout the whole site, and that should help with maneuvering a little bit as well.
It's pretty big.
It allows people to put their cart behind their car and load their trunk.
Looks good, looks great, actually.
Well, we really look forward to coming back before you. This is, I've done about 35 new stores with Market Basket, and I've done probably about 15 redevelopments, and the redevelopments are always fun because we do have old stores and old sites, and, and you can make a big difference, and you're not taking trees down. Usually you do an improvement, and I think this is one of those good projects. It's easy to sell. So we appreciate your time.
Cool beans. All right. Thank you.
Thank you, folks.
Look forward to it.
That one and the other one we got on the other side. It's just really improve 125 in a big way. Let's just see the time over there. It's that's it. Nice to meet you. Look forward to it. Huh? It'll be good just to get refreshed. It is.
Thank you.
All right. So let me just reorient here for a second. Maybe we can wait until. What's that?
I've been there. It's 2-3 times a week for the bar. It's like, it's.
Well, they might, they didn't say that they were gone. It could be. All right.
Don't have the time usually. Look at the liquor store, hit the grocery store, back to the bar, set it up.
What's that? All right, we'll just wait for okay.
I heard all about this coming, so. I like it.
All right, I think that's.
You gonna do the committees?
I think we're gonna do that, yeah, so.
He's back.
All right, I think what we have next, I guess, in terms of, this CIP, we have for committee assignments and things like that. Right now, I think Dan Kane is the chair of the CIP. I know that we've assigned a couple people to the master plan subcommittee, and we've assigned people to the zoning subcommittee. All right. And I guess the intent associated with at least the zoning subcommittee and the master plan subcommittee was just sort of, the master plan subcommittee will probably end up being built out a little more than it is, so that there isn't just, let's say, 2 or 3 people meeting or assigned to it. I think we've talked to RPC. You had the presentation from Jen Rowden. It's her intent that she's going to schedule time with us and to come down and sort of kick off, let's say, something, with the master plan. All right. And at that point, once we know what that date is, the intention is to involve other people on it, extend it to, let's say, relevant people, maybe, various citizens, highway department, other departments, so that we have sort of a robust representation of, for the master plan. All right. And then the idea is that she's going to sort of MC it to kind of, provide that kickoff, and then we can kind of move forward with that. All right. So then that idea of the master plan subcommittee would then become a little more built out. All right. So in terms of zoning, we've used that as sort of an ad hoc, like, working committee, where we've provided notices. So, I propose that we just leave the current format as it is now. And then as we have, let's say, Jen Rowden, RPC comes on board, then we just build out the master plan one to that, that more of a expansive footprint. So, Dan, do you still intend to the CIP, or do you want to speak to CIP going forward or anything like that?
I mean, it's like,
You saw how the sausage was made?
I did. I did see how the sausage is made, and we probably could make it a little bit better. And my plan is to get on top of that like right away. Start that early. I think I have a bunch of, kind of thoughts as to how we can look at this perhaps just a little bit differently. So I will produce something by the next working meeting, just a simple draft outline of what I think, if that's okay.
All right.
Yep.
So you saying that you're willing to be the chair of the CIP?
Well, since I volunteered to prepare a draft, I think that goes without saying.
All right. So that's filled. Do we need to vote on that, or do we just sort of reaffirm that Dan Kane will be the chair of the CIP committee? All right. By acclamation, you were so vested.
Thanks.
You're welcome, Dan.
Oh, yeah.
Doesn't have anything else to do.
Shay, did we have an alternate or something? Or, I mean, how many?
2 members and an alternate.
I think 2 members. So Dan
Rich Leclerc is currently the other representative, and then Karen Robinson is the alternate.
are we okay with that? Or does anyone want to switch that up? Or
Anybody want to change?
do you want to be CIP?
I was on CIP. I was on CIP
for budget,
the
right?
budget committee.
Okay.
I mean, you just can't be on both. So we haven't. The budget committee meeting for reconfiguration is until April 21st. So,
and this can always be revisited too if you have.
Absolutely. Yeah.
All right.
Absolutely.
So why don't we just go with what we have right now, and if it becomes impractical, then we'll just switch it up, right? All right. Let me see. Legislative track, just something interesting on that. I mean, I went to my first RPC meeting as the Blastow commissioner. So, and it's sort of a giant planning board type arrangement. So there is a legislative tracking that's sort of a subset of what we're looking at. All right, but RPC is kind of maintaining it, and they've kind of like carved out specifically the legislative bills that they were tracking, for, traffic, housing, and things like that. And then they color coded them, and it has not been re-forwarded to me. But I mean, at the time that they were actually discussing it, the bills were being voted on like real time. So, like when they were talking about a particular bill, it's like, that's already cleared committee. It's already going on to the Senate. All right, so I thought that was pretty helpful. I asked their executive director to probably forward that, see if I can get a hold of that, if that's something that's being maintained regularly so that we can add it to the legislative mix, just so that we're not looking at everything, but, something a little targeted. At least at the RPC level, that there was a couple of presentations where they talked about that there were monies available in terms of, it might not necessarily apply to Blastow, but where there's culvert development under the rubric of culvert development and things like that, or stream crossing development, a lot of the infrastructure associated with that isn't retooled for, let's say, a 100-year flood. So there are monies available to, if there is culverts that need to be developed, and and it's a town expense that's might be too onerous. Under that type of logic of culvert development with stream crossing, there are grants that are available to towns. So
that's probably something I can bring up at the Conservation Committee meeting.
Yep. No, excellent.
Because they have the data for all of that.
Right. Yeah. So that was one big presentation. So that money's there, and I'm sure that if somebody were to say that, there's some interest, it would probably activate a lot of people and justify them.
Yeah. I'll raise that at Concom. I just mentioned. I am going to share with them the implementation schedule on the master plan.
Okay.
Because there's a number of items there that at least on the implementation schedule, that have the Concom either directly responsible or joint responsibility with the planning board. I don't think they have that, and so the plan is to review that at the next meeting and then decide, get some feedback from Concom.
All right. Excellent.
I mean, there's a lot of items there that
Just since we're talking about land use boards, I'm just going to put it out there. It's in our rules and procedures. I don't know if, I'm just going to say it out loud that, at some point, a joint meeting, let's say if the ZBA and planning board, if that makes sense. I don't necessarily know what that would look like, what the context would be. Maybe, just sort of from a brainstorming perspective, if in the event that we wanted to do something like that, maybe something RPC sort of
in a lot of towns, what I've seen is that actually it's a joint meeting once a year, usually in September, between the ZBA, the planning board, and the Conservation Commission. And it's just generally, it's generally substantive in the sense of, what do we see some of the needs of the town, and then how the two land use boards can help. I would actually even invite the other land use board, which is the building inspector or the code enforcement officer. I think that's, they should be part of that conversation. And just, an exchange of ideas. There's nothing statutory or lawful that's going to come out of this.
Yeah, so we're not talking about anything, potential stuff that would show up before the other board. It'd be sort of a high-level generic.
Yeah. I mean, let's face it, anything can show up before any board, but in terms of like specific applications or notions, no. This would be just like strategic things that we may want to consider as it relates to land use.
All right.
And sometimes it doesn't hurt because we did all the zoning on there, that sometimes they don't remember or know when the ZBA is asked, they'll say, oh, we didn't know about that one, or, just to discuss what we just did to change so that they know it too. The rules, or the new rules, I should say.
Mm-hmm.
Because a lot of times, we've seen some of the ZBA members that go, oh, what was that one? No, I just meant a discussion, just to go over.
Again, I think the notion of a meeting is a good one. That's where we should start.
Exactly.
Yeah. All right. So I don't know how, where we would block that out, but I think, the month of September just got thrown out there. So I think that's
I offer it just as observation, what I've seen,
A flag in the ground.
Well, and it's prior to kind of a lot of the end of the year public hearings and meetings and the like of that. So.
All right. So just going forward, zoning wise or whatever, I think I talked to Dan on the, just about this. Do we want to see, there's a lot that's going to shake out legislatively, and it's sort of going to be sort of a canned.
There's actually, believe it or not, this year, so far, there's not a ton of land use. Almost all of the let's repeal what we did last year stuff got croaked. Okay, that's not going anywhere. So now
make sure you get that exactly, Charlene.
Quotation points.
So really, there's fairly, there's one kind of commercial, multifamily development in a commercial. They wanted to repeal what was done last year. But when you look at the actual amended language, it's less of a repeal and more of a clarification. It got changed. There's some things with board memberships, before on land use boards that are there, but clarification, they seem to be fairly straightforward. But not a ton. Last year I had a list of like 25 things. This year, from what I can see, I've got 5.
All right.
And I don't think any of them would warrant an amendment to the zoning ordinance, from what I can see right now. Given the way our ordinance is right now.
Knock on wood.
Yeah. And I don't want to curse myself, but they seem to be dispatching things fairly quickly at the legislature this year.
Yeah, they are.
I mean, by this time last year, there were a ton of open things. Now there's decisions being made. So they've been moving into the opposite chamber with some degree of promptness, if you will. So.
And again, to other priorities like C3, I think is something from a zoning perspective that we might want to
take a look at that. I think signs is one we should take a look at.
That one too. Yep, definitely.
I mean, there's a lot of, I get a lot of comments from businesses in general, but that, with some dissatisfaction with our sign ordinance. So there could be something there that we should take a look at.
All right. And, C3 is just, I think there's a,
I definitely want to.
yeah, that there's something, we should be tying have some sort of tie-in with whatever the other business is that's associated with the business that you have there, so that you don't have something that's a closet that allows for 30,000 foot expansion.
And also not to allow for constant repetition, same thing, all along the highway. That's.
Well, to me, it's easy. You stick with, it's like, it's the intent of the zoning ordinance.
Right.
It's articulated in the first sentence. If that's we want to keep that as the intent, then the conditions relating to C3 should mirror that intent.
Exactly, yes.
If we want to change it or whatever we want to do, then that's the discussion.
All right. Anything else from anyone? I mean, before we move on to I think, all right. All right, we got a letter. That's from the town manager. I think you should have it dated March 5th. All right, it's regarding zoning official reaffirmation. So now, this was distributed to the board prior to March 5th. I think I had emailed at least, Bill, you got an email from me, I think. Liz, I emailed you, and I sent an email to the town manager, with respect to this. My feeling was that I think the board should, as a land use board that's being sort of a little more than tangentially affected by this appointment, that we should have had some input on. Okay, and so I think to that end, I didn't think, I think I'll say it. I think
we would have appreciated the discussion.
I think I would have, I'll leave it at that. I think we should have, our ask should have been respected, I think. Yeah. All right, and I don't think it was unreasonable to say that our input, there were things that were offered, and I didn't get a reply back from anyone. The town manager, I did not get a reply back. And I'd asked specific questions, about, sort of circumstances went into the decision making. So, at least on some level, I don't sense a certain collegiality. All right, and at least there should have been some sort of response back, and maybe even the opportunity to go into some specifics, speak to that. So, I mean, in terms of what it means here, I don't know. I mean, I still don't necessarily understand what it is that's being. I mean, I don't think the job is advertised.
Oh, well,
Okay. Well,
and you're really not going to probably get anyone, Karen, because you're talking It's very minimal, the amount of work that would go in. We obviously couldn't have it for Shea because there's a difference, right? There's a separation now between zoning officer and planning. There's a separation. It can't be the same person. They're separate departments now. That's how we wanted it written up. So it's separate.
But it should be separate for anybody that's in that position. It shouldn't be in another.
Well, again, I think the issue as to separation, that's been asked and answered. It is what it is. My concern with the town manager's letter is, first of all, they see the terms, capitalized terms, which to me are defined, but have no definition. I know what the words mean, but they use it as a defined term as zoning determinations and zoning verifications. And I just follow our process. So our process in the rules of procedures is we don't discuss any need for zoning determinations or zoning verifications. We don't have any such requirement in our subdivision or site plan regulations. I mean, we have this that sits on the application, but there's no underlying authority for it. So what are we doing? You know, we're getting determinations here that we're not asking for, we don't require. We've dealt with the notion of talking about zoning in now requiring every applicant to come before us in a conceptual consultation, one of which is to discuss the underlying zoning if we have a concern. We are, as members of the planning board, in our evaluation of site plans and subdivision plans, we can make determinations as to the zoning ordinance on our own that are then appealable, no different than an administrative official's decisions are appealable to the ZBA. So what is it that we need? And why is the town manager telling the planning board what it needs? Why do I see on applications, someone asked the zoning official to make a determination? The town wants, if the Board of Selectmen or the town manager, if he has such authority, want to hire the zoning official to make some determinations, they're entitled to do it. The Board of Selectmen are in charge of the enforcement, provisions under the ordinance. They're given that specific authority. But the planning board has its authority and it has its responsibilities. And we don't authorize any zoning official or zoning whatever to make those determinations for us. And it shouldn't be in our applications unless we make that determination. And all of a sudden it appears. And you can tell from the way I'm speaking, I'm ticked off. Okay? I'm ticked off that this gets rammed down my throat. And if anyone thought that there would be a different reaction, they obviously don't pay attention to me. This is not right. And again, I'm not going to dispute the authority of the appointing, whether it's the town manager to do what they need people to do. That's their call. But it's our call as a planning board to get what we need. So that's my Irish reaction to this.
Don't sugarcoat it. Tell us how you really feel.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Like I said, I mean, I made myself available to anyone that wanted, specifics, and I don't care what, for the discussion. I mean, there are a number of things I think that are important, and if people decided that they didn't want to hear them, then that's their decision. But again, I think it's important to note that the job wasn't advertised. Okay. And I specifically asked in my capacity on the budget committee about the hiring of part-time individuals, if those particular jobs that they were going to be hired for or the position created for, if it was actually going to be advertised and what the mechanism was. All right. And I was, I can get the minutes for the meeting and point you to the video. But I was told that it would probably be advertised on the New Hampshire Municipal Association website for a period of time. There'd be interview processes and things like that. And so, I mean, I think it's safe to say that none of that happened. And sort of after a nationwide search, we have sort of where we're at. So, I mean,
I think this letter needs a response.
Yes.
And a polite but firm response. Thanks, but no thanks. Do what you need to do, but as it relates to planning board and this notion of determinations, and we can put in there, which is fine with me, if we require such determination, we will ask for it. What's wrong with that?
I mean, I'm just noting that the letter specifically says that does not include code enforcement, all right? And then except on a consultation basis. I mean,
which means it includes.
I don't know what that means.
Which means it includes code enforcement.
Well, I mean, who's consulting? I mean, and
well, we don't say it doesn't. It doesn't. You don't say it generally doesn't do something, and then you turn around and says, but it could.
Yeah, well, yeah. I mean, it just seems awkward that you have except on a consultation basis.
I don't want to I don't want to necessarily pick on the notion. I don't want to pick on the town manager, but the way this was done was not right, in my opinion. It could have been done in a different way. But I believe it requires a response, and the response should be that the planning board makes the determination of what it needs from zoning determinations, not anyone else.
Well, I'm tending to agree to that. I think, I mean, part of what I didn't, like, and we've seen this in some instances, is where you have an applicant sort of working, sort of ex parte with another, with somebody, and then waving a letter around saying that I spoke to somebody and this person said this, and basically not even, basically even almost intimating that there's like a detrimental reliance type argument going on, that I did this and I made decisions based on what this person said. So you better decide the right way or else,
that's
there's some
precisely
sort of harm.
what you try to avoid by having a process.
Right.
So.
All right. Anything else?
I went to a meeting where Janet Stevens was present. I asked her I was asking her what was taking so long with this traffic study. And she said beyond the state, it was really the town that was holding it up. But I guess we're kind of beyond that hurdle. And the date that she was given was we're going to see something around 2028. I guess RFPs are going out. I will say this about Janet Stevens. She is very easy to get in touch with. If you have any questions, being the public, her phone is open. She does return phone calls. I've called her several times. And if you have questions, I believe her term is coming up. I believe she's running again in November. So if you have questions, I would say at least ask them now and get answers because she's been very involved in it. Who knows if she's going to.
She's very good, very responsive. She always has been. And I know her and the town manager have a very good relationship. And a lot of it, believe it or not, stems from the ALS stuff.
I'm not going to talk about the ALS right now. I brought that up too as well, but it's not on topic here. So yeah, if you have questions about the traffic study, I would say please reach out to Janet Stevens and talk to her. She might get back in her seat, but obviously she's been dealing with this for several years. So if you have any questions, I would ask her before November.
Excellent. Thank you. Anyone else? All right, then we'll close the meeting at 8:49. Thank you. Oh.